Hello everybody, Jenny here with Dental Ops Pro, and in this video what I'm going to do is show you how to build a report using Dentrix Ascend, specifically the power reporting. Now, before you start actually building the report, what I do recommend is for you to sit down and specifically think about what it is that you're asking Ascend to do, what numbers you're specifically asking for it to produce for you, because it has a lot of numbers in the system floating around in it. You want to be sure that you're asking for building and in the end receiving the correct report. Now, how I go about doing this is I specifically answer each one of these questions. Who, what, when, where, and why. Whose numbers are you building? Are they going to be specifically the practice? So we're looking at patient count, new patient count, or is it financial numbers? So are you looking for production or collection numbers? What numbers are we pulling? Whether they're going to be financial dollar signs or just a count. When? What specific timeline do you want these numbers to come from? Where? Where are these numbers coming from? Whether that's going to be from a specific location, a specific provider's patient pool, or from a specific insurance. A lot of people forget to mention this when they're speaking with an Ascend representative. You want to be able to state why you need this report so they have a better idea of what exactly it is that you're looking for. And also it can start a conversation of exactly what type of report you're looking and you're requesting from them. A lot of the times where I start when it comes to building a report is going through what's already there, meaning Ascend already has a strong library of standard reports such as production, collections, aging, insurance aging reports, patient lists, and etc. You might be surprised that what you're asking for is already built in. I also encourage you to use your filters wisely, meaning I encourage you to use them to narrow down the results. You don't want to build some arbitrary report that is going to be useless in the end due to the amount of information that's in there. So breaking it down by year or by provider or even both would be a strong recommendation in my point of view. So that way you can see everybody's strengths and weaknesses and who are the major producers in your office. Also, by doing this and having a more focused report, less data overload and faster results in the end. So it will be faster for Ascend to actually produce if it doesn't have to pull so much from its system. So by narrowing down the timeline, by narrowing down the per provider, you're also giving Ascend an opportunity to speed up the process in processing the report for you. Because I know we've all been there when we've pulled a huge report and we've had to wait for it to finally process and complete. I also encourage you to save custom reports and name them in a way not only that makes sense for the numbers, that'll help you remember which report is which. This is especially true if you're tweaking a report that already exists and you're adding filters. This will cancel out the need for you to need to rebuild the same report in the future. Once again, I can't emphasize this enough. Know the purpose of the report that you are running. Stopping a minute in the beginning and asking yourself questions such as, what question am I answering with this report? Keeps you from running multiple unnecessary results. I also encourage you, once you build your report, to actually export it and print it out. Sometimes it's easier for you to actually visualize and conceptualize the report once you have it literally at hand. There is nothing like physically being able to highlight the numbers and sharing them with your team to be sure that the numbers you have actually make sense. By doing this, this can help make a big report feel more manageable. I'm not sure if a lot of you know this, but in Dentrix Ascend, you're able to schedule reports automatically. A little bit later on or towards the end of this video, I'll show you how to schedule reoccurring reports, whether that's going to be daily production or weekly collections. So you don't have to manually build them each and every time. When building these reports, I encourage you to focus on production, collections, accounts receivable, recare due, and outstanding insurances are usually going to be our top priorities. Starting with these things keeps things simple before diving into more advanced reports. While building these reports, I also encourage you to not be afraid to breaking up the report into smaller pieces. Instead of running one huge report, which is going to take a lot of time to process and will actually skip a lot of details, this is why I encourage you to do this in smaller pieces, smaller steps, so that you can see how Ascend and where your office lies each and every step of the way. Breaking down a huge report into 2 or 3 smaller categories can help make the information more digestible. And I know how frustrating it can get when you don't get the same rep each time you call, but always be sure to save your reference numbers so that way they can read the report of what is already being done in regards to what you're asking for, and they can continue versus starting all over, because there's nothing like having to start all over with a new person and feeling frustrated and unheard. I also want to remind you that to help Ascend build accurate reports, you must implement consistent data entry practices. Understand reporting nuances like transaction dates and regular reconcile your reports against different modules. The best approach is to combine the robust daily workflows with strategic use of the Power Reporting feature for in-depth analysis. Meaning you want to be sure that the correct information is being entered. You also want a strong understanding of the information that Ascend provides. Take, for example, the difference between transaction and modified date. This one might be a little controversial, but I also recommend that you assign each provider a specialty for accurate production tracking, even if each provider is not a specialist. A big one that everybody always misses is regularly locking software periods. This is to prevent discrepancies from backdated entries. Lock your software at the end of each month. This ensures that past reports remain unchanged. The great thing about Ascend is that Dentrix Ascend allows you to lock accounting periods by either based on the transaction's age or manually by specifying a date. Implement and enforce a consistent workflow. Garbage in and garbage out is a reality for reporting. Ensure your team understands and follows procedures for data entry, including using the correct adjustments for production versus collection, accurately documenting referral resources for new patients, properly posting all payments, charges, and adjustments. In other words, the report is only going to be as accurate as the information that we're putting in. So you want to be sure that you're training your team properly, especially in the beginning when you're building a report with Ascend. I suggest that you use a pre-existing report. Even if you're just going to use it for comparison reasons as you're speaking to the representative, this report is almost what I'm asking for, but it's missing A, B, and C, and I need to include X, Y, and Z. As I stated before, to request the correct dental office report, you must first define your specific goal, such as measuring the financial performances or patient activity. Then you can ask for the corresponding key performance indicator or KPI reports and specify the details that you need, like date ranges and which providers to include. Determine your goal. Before requesting a report, identify the specific business question you want to answer. Different questions require different data. For example, to reconcile daily cash flow, you will need the daily deposit report. To check on unpaid bills from insurance, you'll need an insurance accounts receivable aging report. To see what treatments a specific hygienist has performed last month, you need a production report filtered by the hygienist and the monthly date range. Formulate your request. When communicating your request to your office manager or team, Be clear and specific. So when communicating your request to the Dentrix Ascend representative, you need to be clear and specific. Include these details like state the purpose, briefly explain what you need the report for, specify the metric, use the precise terms like production, collections, or accounts receivable. Provide the time frame. Always give a start and end date for the data. Designate the providers. If you need the data for a specific doctor or hygienist, mention them by name. Indicate the level of detail. Some reports have summary and detailed versions. Request the format. Specify if you want the physical copy, a PDF, or a digital export from the practice or the management software. I really do hope this helps anybody out there with any problems that they have in regards to building a report. It's all about communication, collecting the right data, and knowing what you're asking for. Please follow me for more tips, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.